Welcome to the Wyoming RC Way. Okay, got another review and install for you. We're going to be swapping out the gears for the transmission to make it better of a rock crawler. Now the ones we're going to be putting in is the 214 gears. The stock transmission comes with 212 gears. So if we so using that as our baseline, we put in these 214s in, it will give you a overall underdrive across the whole unit, because we're doing it at the transmission. It'll give you a 16.7% underdrive, which is going to give you obviously less wheel speed, so less overall how fast it's going to go, but it's going to give you a lot more control down low. So it kind of depends on how you want to go about that. So as I said, this is going to give you 16.7% underdrive from stock. So anyway, let's go ahead and go. Give you some little O-rings too. Well, come here, stay there. So they give you 3 of them. Those are so tiny. We're going to put those in there, just so we don't lose them. Oh, you know what? Forgot. This is actually Phillips based. I'm using a 00. As you can see, right in there is our worm gear. Right down in there. So. You see that one that I took out that's back behind this, right here by the motor, that's the long one. The other 2 short ones were down here at the bottom. As you can see also here, the bearing is set to different depths. So if you look, see here, it's a lot taller than it is here. A lot taller than it is here. So the taller side goes onto your transmission that way. And so you look, it's a half shaft. Purposely put it in what's going to be the wrong way, or try to. See, it won't go. So if I rotate it slowly, slightest bit of pressure, see, and then you just saw that it just started sinking, or started going in, and that's because, you see, to line up with that hole. And it does look like we do have enough grease in here already still. So, yeah, as I said, remember, the taller side goes down. And we're not going to have to worry about mesh because we did not move the motor. So, and then as you're putting this back together, remember, you're just going into plastic. So if you over torque this, you're going to strip out the holes. And what I'm doing is of course, I'm going to put all the screws in, but I'm not going to torque them all down. Or, you know, tighten them all the way down. I guess using the word torque, probably a bad idea when I'm telling you not to torque on too much. Anyway, I'm going to put these all in, and to make sure that everything's lining up as far as for on this top side here. And then I will go through and tighten them the rest of the way down. Like this one, since this one's the last one, I'll go ahead and send this one all the way home. And then kind of like I've always, you know, like when you're tightening your lug nuts and all that, they always say do a star pattern or every other one or whatever. So, and I've always carried that over into my electronics thing too. Okay, and remember what I said earlier, for the 3 screws on the back side, the longer one goes on the inside closest to the motor. We adapt, right? We find what works for us. So you can see our worm gear in there. Excuse me, our worm gear in there. So I'm gonna go lunch with my buddy, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna tackle these in the ring gear, which goes right there. So obviously we're going to have to pull the drive shafts off, and then it should just be a simple press the ring gear off and put it, just slap back on and just put it right in there, and then we'll be ready for another test run. So for now, just so you guys know, I'll just put him on like that. Yeah. At first, a little side note, at first I was not really sold on the SCX30, just because it's so tiny. Not a big especially Ford fan. Nothing wrong with Ford, you know, to each their own. If they did not put out a decent product, they would not have been around as long as they are. Same with Chevrolet, same with Jeep. It's just I am not a fan of Ford at all. So anytime I can avoid getting a Ford of anything, I do. Even as simple as, you know, just little RC cars. But, you know, that's one of my little quirks, I guess you could say. Obviously, I'm the biggest fan of Chevrolet or GM. My next one for crawlers and all that would be like the Toyotas. Because I had a little Toyota when I was a kid. Or when I was younger, I had a odd Toyota pickup truck. But that's a story for later when I come back. But okay, I'm gonna go lunch with my buddy, and I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Okay, guys, I'm back. Went ahead and grabbed my lithium grease and that. So let's see. So now we're gonna put this one in. You can see there's two little screws we gotta take out in the drive shafts. There and there. This might even take a smaller one. Oh, wait. Might make this a little bit easier. Make that a little easier. So, you see I just pulled it out. And at least for the, I'm sure it's for the other two that are currently out also, the Jeep and the Bronco. Of course, the longer shaft's going to go to the rear. So. And I did that because hopefully you can see that. That way I can see that hole. Well, doggone it. I was lied to you. I was lied to, and in the process ended up lying to you guys. You cannot just use the regular diff gears for this. It does not work. Because as you can see, I saw it visually, but I thought, well, maybe some, you can see there, a little bit of separation here. You can see they're different depths. Well, that sucks. So I guess if you want to do gear reduction, you're gonna have to do it at the diff gears. Or at the differential. So not really a big deal, but supposedly we were supposed to be able to do that. As you can see right now, what I'm trying to do is just try to make sure all my drive shafts can be completely in phase. So, and then also something else I'm going to show you too is whenever you're putting your vehicle together, put your drive shafts back in, you always want to try to make them what's called phasing your drive shafts So the easiest way I found anyway is, you see how we have right here, this is the screw hole right here. That's what mounts the drive shaft. And see, that's the screw for the drive shaft. When you're, to make sure they're in phase so that your U-joints line up and all that. And these little ones is probably not as critical because they're not as fast as other stuff is. But, you know, just kind of a good practice to keep in. You, to make sure they're in phase, and the easiest for me is the screw hole and the screw hole, line them up as you're putting them together. And that goes for the front and the back. So, just one other thing is, as I said, I brought my lithium grease. I'm going to put this back together and just put it just a little dab. I mean, barely enough to even put out down that on the top of a Q-tip, just a squirt, just to make sure that's good and lubed up. But I'm not going to bore you with me putting it all back together. I think I'm just going to sulk in my disappointment that this did not work like I was hoping for us. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and found it informative and entertaining. Please like, subscribe, and share. And remember, however you run it the Wyoming Cowboy way. Safe, fun, and built right.